Hello. The Cost of Lying. That's the name of my third film, actually, my third feature film. So, I'm going to tell you a story. It's an example from my own life. I want to talk about lying. This is inspired by a friend of mine. We've had discussions about honesty and lies. And he told me once, Theo, you're very honest. Give me one example where you lie. Well, all right then. So here's an example of where I lie. So, about 2 weeks ago, I came back from a shift where I was driving, and my dispatcher, someone that works in the office and uh, dispatches through the radio system. Uh, so where I work, there's a radio in every vehicle that you drive, and if you lose your way and you need directions, or you need to you're having trouble finding a passenger and you need dispatch to call the passenger on the phone, then you can give the dispatch a call through the radio. And sorry, I'm getting a message and I'm trying to focus. Actually, I'm getting a message from the very friend that I'm talking about. Anyway, so there are dispatchers, right? God damn it! I'm being very distracted right now, and I'm not blaming other people, but I am distracted by noises around me, so it's difficult to make this video. I feel some pressure. I make long videos. I feel sorry for that, and I should really just get to the point. But it's in my heart to make this video, and damn it, I'm going to do it, and I'm sorry that it's long. If it's too long, find better content somewhere else. All right, so we're just going to spearhead through this. So, when I return, I see the dispatchers in the office when I return from my shift. So one particular dispatcher, let's call her Diana. One night, she said to me, Theo, what do you think about how I sound on the radio? Suggesting that there's a problem with the way she sounds, which in fact there is. And I responded with, well, you're firm. You're firm, I said. And the truth is that she's not firm. Firm is a word that I use for people that speak plainly, speak clearly, and are assertive, but not nasty, mean, or aggressive. So firm is a very, as far as I'm concerned, in my own use of the word, it's a very specific word that means not nasty, but direct, which is good. Firm means, as I said, so now there's a silence. I'm actually being distracted by the silence. That's weird. There was a bunch of keys rattling and some noises in the hallway, and now there's none of that. And I'm finding that I'm being distracted by the lack of noise. What the heck is up with that, man? Whoa. Interesting. You learn every day. Okay, so what was I saying? Firm to me is not aggressive. Firm to me is assertive and direct and honest. And I dare say integrity filled. So all laudable things. But in this case, I described her as firm. Now, why did I describe her as firm? I'll tell you why. Because I'm afraid that if I say that, I find actually the way you speak on the radio to be pretty aggressive, if I were to use that word, then she might respond as, might get some flack from women from this, but I think there's some truth to this saying, as a woman scorned. If you've ever heard the expression, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, I basically coddled her with the lie. I placated to her. I appeased to her. And I would also say that in that moment, there was. Now, I think that there is transactional feelings, soul to soul, that are happening on a moment to moment basis, essentially. So we have words, right? And words are, you know, sent through our voice box mechanism, and the microphone is picking that up. And these words are an exercise of the physical body, but they originate in our thoughts. Now, the question is, where do thoughts come from? I'm going on a tangent here, but there's that quote from some Eastern scholar, beware your thoughts, they become your words. Beware your words, they become your actions. Beware your actions, they become your behavior, and so on. But what he doesn't address is, where do your thoughts come from? Good question, isn't it? Well, I found the answer to that question. Your thoughts come from your feelings. That's a nice one to mull over. So these feelings are real things. The import of your speech is as relevant in a way as the import of your thoughts, and more relevant than all of that is the import of your feelings. So these feelings are felt and they are projected, and people around you pick up those projections. So why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this because one projection that I felt from this woman, Diana, was a sexual projection. A feeling that she likes me, that she perhaps might think of me in a sexual context, that perhaps there's a future sexually between herself and myself. And I picked up on that, and I was afraid that if I were to spurn that, what I consider a sexual advance, then I might receive a lot of heat. And as somebody that, and I'm not saying this is right, but this is my thinking, as somebody that wants to, build a mainstay in my workplace, who wants to build some clout with the people around me, I don't want to start a fight with anyone. Now, it's not necessarily me starting the fight, but what I am doing, which is wrong, is lying and giving her the opportunity to continue the advances, which, this is the whole point of what I'm saying and the example I'm giving, she did continue the advances. And for about 2 weeks, when I return, she has this gooey-eyed, and by the way, after I said she was firm, there's another thing I wanted to say. She came up to me and gave me a hug saying, "You understand me. You're the only one that understands me." So I took the hug, and I'm not really against hugs, but that was kind of a more sexual hug, and really probably, if I was being honest, I would say, you know what, I don't feel very good about this. I'm not attracted to you. But that's not really something you can say in a work situation where there's 4 other people around. So I didn't. I mean, you can say that. There's nothing against you saying that, but it's something that, a lot of people wouldn't. But that's the kind of honesty and integrity that God would ask of us, I believe. And one context I want to put all of this in is, according to Jesus, let's bring it back to his teachings, which I think are the best on the planet. According to Jesus, the plane, I should say, lies are not just, telling a falsehood. It's also a white lie, and it's also withholding. So if you withhold something, which I also did in that time, in that moment, instead of saying she's firm, what I was really thinking was, geez, you're really nasty on the radio. And I withheld. So I'm losing time. This did turn out to be a 10-minute video, and I'm going to stop it here, but I'm going to pause real quick and see if there's one more thing I wanted to say. I guess that's really it. I just want to make a kind of conclusion with the time I have, which is, look in your own life for times that you've lied, where you know you've lied, and